Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Kana and you are watching Made by Kana. And if you've been watching Netflix lately, there's a really trendy, I don't know, it's a show that everyone's been watching, the K-pop Demon Hunters. And on that show there's a cute little guy named Derpy Tiger. So there's a lot of versions out there already. I'm kind of late to the Derpy party, but there's a lot of versions out there, and I've made this version of mine that's a little bit different. He's lying down, sprawled, and to be honest, I wasn't sure how I wanted to make him at first because the details, I wanted to capture all the details, and it wasn't easy. So that's why I'm going to make this video, and usually I just show the basic steps, but I think for this video I will try to include as much as the details I've done on Derpy as possible so you can recreate your own. But it's really cute. He has a tail that can curve. I've put a pipe cleaner in there. This detail on the body, the tail and the legs, these were embroidered on, as well as the paws in the back. Ears are really small little granny, instead of a granny square, it's a granny triangle. The eyes were embroidered on, same with these. These were, they're called French knots. The teeth I also embroidered on, but I think this part you could glue some white felt. That might be visually more aesthetic. The tongue, you could also cut a piece of pink felt and glue this part, but I think I like how the result of the embroidered eyes turned out. The paws I actually haven't finished yet. I was going to put in the nails, but I think I might just leave it as is because he's kind of cute this way. These are 4 bobble stitches, so it's cute. It looks like his paws. Okay, so for this tutorial, you will need a number of things. A tapestry needle, some scissors, a pair of scissors, a 4.5mm hook, pink yarn. The yarn I used is worsted weight yarn. I used the Bernat brand. And so the name of this color, it's called Robin's Egg, but it's kind of like a turquoisey, cool blue color. The blue on the main body, it's called Sky Blue, and the detail on the ears and the tail, that's called Denim. But you can use whichever brand you'd like, whatever colors you have available, and also you could use thicker yarn and use a bigger hook, but your results will obviously differ from what I've made here. So without further ado, let's get started. First, we're going to use the 4.5mm hook and some pink yarn to make the tongue first. And for the tongue, we're going to chain 4, slip knot, and 1, 2, 3, 4. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to do 2 single crochets. I always forget to mention in the beginning, but because this is amigurumi, we're doing yarn under rather than yarning over. So I just did 2 single crochets, and then in this last chain, we're doing 3 single crochets, 2 and 3, and then on the other side of the chain we're doing 1 single crochet and finishing with an increase in the last stitch. So this is the tongue, very small. We're making the tongue first, and then we're going to do the ears, and then we're going to do the head. Just because of the way the head is made, this turquoise part, it's part of the head. You change colors, but the tongue you sew on. So, and before closing up the head and stuffing the head, I embroider the details on the eyes and these like eyebrow thingies and the mouth. So that's why we're doing the tongue first. Ears, we're gonna make 2 of them, and so we're gonna use the pink yarn, make a magic circle, and we're going to do 3 sets of single crochet and chain 2. So 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, chain 2, that's the second set, and then 1 single crochet and chain 2. I'm gonna tighten up the magic circle, and then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet. And we can fasten that off. Next we're going to use Robin's Egg, the light turquoise color. So this is the center of the ear, and we're going to, so the triangle has 3 sides, we're going to crochet only on 2 sides of the ear, and this is the edge that's sewn onto the head. So we're going to insert our hook into that chain 2 space, and we're gonna do a single crochet in that chain 2 space, 1 single crochet into the previous single crochet. Now we're at the peak here with the chain 2 space again. We're going to single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet again into that chain 2 space. Now we have 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then in this other chain 2 space we're going to single crochet into that. So we have 1, 2, 3 single crochets, chain 2, and then 3 single crochets. And I'm going to fasten that off. And then with the denim color, so the denim or navy, you can use navy blue as well. I'm using this color called denim. I couldn't find my navy blue yarn. We're going to join the yarn at the first stitch. Okay. For this third color, we're going to also work along the two sides of the triangle. In this first row of the denim, we're just going to single crochet into each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a decrease at the top and then 3 down this side, and working in the back loops only. So back loop only, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to do a decrease at the peak of the triangle, and then 3 down the side. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this will form the back of the ear. And what we're going to do next is we're going to work back and forth on the back side of the ear, decreasing at the peak. And then we're going to be left with a little bit of a middle to which we will sew together. So it's kind of like a little pyramid, kind of. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to do 2 single crochets. You can chain 1 and turn, but I'm going to just go directly into that stitch. So 2 single crochets, and this is normal single crochets into both loops. And then we're going to do 3 single crochets together. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 single crochets. It's a little bit wonky, but because all the yarn is loose, but your triangle should be like this in the front, and then at the back we're going to sew this edge together so it's kind of like a 3D ear, if you can tell. It's a 3D ear. So just use this tail that we're going to cut, and then I'll do it right now. So leave a longish tail because we want to sew that edge together, and then we also want to use this tail to sew onto the head later. So we're going to, so there was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. just sew the ear like so. And so now we have the navy blue or dark blue at the back, and then this pink and turquoise triangle at the front. Kind of weave this back down to the edge so that it's easier to sew onto the head later. These pieces of yarn, we can tie this so that it doesn't come apart. And then we can also tie this so it doesn't come apart. Tie a knot. And then we'll use one of the two, maybe the pink, to sew this along this edge. And then the rest we can stuff into the ear. Not easy working with such a small piece, but see, you have a little triangle, a little pyramid with three edges, 1, 2, and 3. So make 2 of those. We'll put that to the side. We're going to use the 4.5mm hook. And we're going to start the head. So the head, we're working from the top of the head down, and we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to use this tail as my stitch marker. You don't have to do that. You can use a regular stitch marker. And we're going to, in the second loop from the hook, we're going to do 8 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And in the last chain, we're going to do 3 single crochets on that same stitch. So we're going to rotate and work on the other side of the chain. Now we're doing 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. In the last stitch, we're going to do an increase. So you should have a total of 20 stitches in that round. So this was my tail that I'm using as a stitch marker. In round 2, we're doing 1 increase in the first stitch, and then 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7, 1 increase, 2 second increase, and a third increase. And then another 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in the last 2 stitches, we're doing 2 increases. 1 increase and second increase. And that's the end of round 2. So now you should have 26 stitches after finishing round 2. In the third round, we're doing 26 single crochets all the way around. No increases this time. And I will see you back at the end of the round. This is the last 5 stitches. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So same number of stitches, no increases. So third end of round 3 we had 26 stitches. In the fourth round we're doing 1 single crochet and an increase, and then 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're going to do a single crochet and an increase, another single crochet and an increase, and another single crochet and an increase. So we're going to change colors. So before finishing that last stitch of the increase, we're going to wrap this guy around and change colors. And in this color, we're going to do 2 single crochets. Then we're going to switch back to the other color, and we're going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Switch colors, and then another 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and then we're going to switch colors again. And then an increase, a single crochet, and an increase. So at the end of this round, you have 32 single crochets. In the fifth round, we're doing 17 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So before I finish the 17th stitch, I'm going to bring over this yarn over the hook to change colors, and I will do part of that 17th stitch and change colors. And then 5 single crochets. and then switch back colors and do 2 single crochets, and then change colors again and do 5 single crochets. And change colors and finish off this 5th round with 3 single crochets. So we're at the end. We just finished round 5, and we're now going to start on round 6. Round 6, we're going to do 16 single crochets first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 before we start the 16th stitch. I'm going to bring that other color over top of my hook and wrap it around so that it's ready for me to change colors. That was 16. Now we're doing 6 colors, 6 single crochets in the next color. So 1. Always make sure that the yarn you're carrying in the back is not, there's no tension, otherwise your work might be a little warped. Okay, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to change colors and do 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and change colors again and do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And change colors and finish with 2 single crochets. 1, 2. So we're going to repeat round 6 for round 7. So do exactly the same thing again. And I will meet you back at the end of the round. Okay. The last 2 stitches of round 7. For round 8, we're going to repeat round 5. So we're doing 17 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm going to do 16 again. 16 and 17. And then we're doing 5 in the next color. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Change colors and do 2 single crochets and change back and do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to finish off with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So at this point, your head should look like this. And we're going to finish off the second color because we don't need it anymore. The next 2 rounds, round 9 and 10, we're just doing 32 single crochets all the way around. No increases or decreases, just 32 single crochets all the way around. If you're liking the tutorial so far, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. If you don't want to watch the video for the entire pattern, my pattern is available on Etsy and Ravelry in printed PDF format, which may be easier to for you to crochet along with the pattern in front of you. But if you are used to crocheting with videos and don't need a pattern, totally fine as well. That's what we're here for. Oops. So after we finish, so this is the end of round 9. We're going to do one more round, round 10. And after we finish round 10, we're going to do some embroidery. I'm not proficient in embroidery, so I normally just do video tutorials of my crochet works, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to show how I do the embroidery work because it's not really my area of expertise. But in order to help you make the full Derpy Tiger, I'm gonna show you the way I embroidered the eyes. Otherwise you won't be able to finish. But if you opt to not embroider the eyes, you can always use felt and cut colored felt So as much as I don't I don't hate, but embroidery is a lot more work, and that's the end of round 10. Embroidery is a lot more work, but the effect is much nicer, and so I like the look of it versus felt, because when you put the felt on with the color changes, it gets kind of bulky. And yeah, so I'm gonna go get some of my embroidery thread and my needle, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have here some embroidery thread, the red, orange, and yellow. I suppose like you don't have to do all three colors. You could do just the orange and red. Yeah, but I opted to do three colors just for the full effect of Derpy's eyes. I also have the black for the outline, the black for all the details around. So basically what we're gonna do, I have just a regular pen, and if you are a seamstress sewer, you may have like the fabric pens, but I don't have it. So I'm just going to use this to outline this circle of the eye. Okay. I'm nervous. Okay, here we go. It's just easier when you have a circle to follow. I'm not overly worried about the ink. Okay, so we're gonna go the circle, leave 2 rows untouched, and then it goes to the very bottom. I'm not too worried about it being kind of permanent blue ink on this, because we're gonna crochet over it. Okay, that's the first eye, and then we're gonna outline the second eye. And you know what? Your circle may not be perfect. Mine isn't. And your embroidery may not be perfect, and mine wasn't. But that's okay, because he's Derpy, and he'll just add to the character. There we go. 2 imperfect circles. So I'm just using a regular needle, because we want a needle that will go through the fibers of the yarn. If you use a tapestry needle, you'll be going through the stitches, and we don't want that. We want it to actually go through the yarn in between the fibers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch along the circle. Show you what that looks like after I'm done. Gonna leave just a little bit of a tail at the end to tie a knot. So just I'll do 1 or 2 stitches with you. Just a stitch like this. Okay, so that's my little red circle. I'm going to do the other one and I'll be right back. 2 circles for the eyes, the red circles. Did the best I could. It's a little lopsided, but that's okay. So I'm going to leave this thread hanging. It's like 12 inches long I have left. Don't worry if you have less, you can always add more. So now we're going to use the orange. Okay, so essentially I'm doing 2 orange stitches per each red stitch, and I'm just doing very small stitches around the red. And it doesn't have to be very close to each other because we're going to also add the yellow in there. And if you're concerned that it looks funny or doesn't look right, don't worry. We'll add the yellow, we'll add the black outline, we'll add the pupil, and it will look fabulous. So that's the one eye. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye and we'll continue on with the yellow. Okay, this is the last orange. So I left a little bit of gaps in here, but I have extra thread. So I'm going to leave that for now. And we're gonna work on the yellow. You may be wondering why we needed to do the original red circle, but I think it's something to do with anchoring the stitches in. Without it, then you kind of lose the definition of the eyes. So with the yellow, we're going to try to go in between the orange stitches. And we're only doing small stitches. So we want to leave something in the middle for our safety eyes to poke through. That's why I decided to leave bigger gaps in that second eye. But essentially you're doing the same thing again with the yellow. And don't worry if the inside looks like a mess. As long as you have some ends to tie the knot, it should be fine. I find it works better for me to go from the inside and then out into the orange. So go into the blue and then go through the orange. But again, do whatever works for you. So I've finished the first eye and I will move on to the second eye now. So again, work in between the orange stitches. Okay, we finished both eyes with a little bit of space in the middle for the pupil. You know, we've only just begun and it's just the head, but I think this part takes the longest. I mean, I'm not proficient in embroidery, so this takes me so long to do. But if it's your cup of tea, maybe you enjoy this part the most. So this is where we bring the red back in. So the eyes kind of an almond shape, like this. So we're going to do, if you can picture, two little triangles, one on this end, one on this end, diagonally. So we're going to embroider two little triangles as well as I can. Not gonna lie, it's very challenging for me. That's not bad. Yay. So that was 3 stitches. Now we're gonna go on the top here and do the same thing up here. Okay, so this is my attempt at doing the reds on the corners. Now we're going to finish the other eye. Do the same thing on the other eye. Okay, so I think I'm happy with the red. I might add an outline actually. So go from one corner to the other corner and then give it a little bit of slack and insert your needle on the inside of that and wrap it in the same spot over top. Like that. That's nice. And I'll do the same thing on the other side since I have some red thread left. Not a lot. Let's see if I can do this. You don't have to do this part, but I figure I would. It might not matter because we're going to have the black here anyways. Okay. Okay, yay. We did that. Now we're going to add, I'm going to tie a knot with all these loose ends. It's probably pretty sturdy as is, but I'll tie a knot anyways. Next, we're going to use a black embroidery thread to outline the eyes and make the rest of the details. So similarly, I'm going to insert the needle at this bottom corner right here. I'm going to insert the needle halfway here, just because it's kind of a long distance for a single thread. Ugh. Okay. And then we'll overlap a little bit here. And bring it to the top corner. Like that. Might need to anchor it in the middle of the stitch there. You decide how much anchoring you need. If it's like whatever works for your piece. That's better. Okay. And then the top. Kind of go down a little bit and anchor this one in the midpoint. It's very delicate. If this is not what you want to watch because you know how to do this, you can go ahead and skip this section. I'm sorry it's taking so long. Okay. And then we're going to fill in this little bottom corner. Oops. Touch. Not bad. Okay. Maybe we'll do another outline on the top of the eye. Because there's a bit of blue. Fill this part in. Okay, so that's how I embroider the eyes. Let me show you with the safety eye. So I have 6mm safety eyes available. You can use 6mm or if you like 8, but I think with the amount of detail in the eyes, the 6 works good. You will have difficulty poking the eyes through all the fibers. So use a tapestry needle or something pointy to form a bit of a hole in the middle. There we go. So that's one side of the eye. It's a little bit different, but the same. Okay, and so do the same on the other side. Okay, there's the second eye, and you'll notice that there's no center stitch here, so I need to make my own little opening for the safety eye to go through. It's not easy. Oh, that was easy. Didn't expect that. Oh, yay. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna do the little frown lines, laugh lines, I don't know, eyebrows. So the first one we're gonna do over the robin's egg turquoise color, and basically we're gonna do it from this stitch to here, and then we're going to move up one stitch here to here, and then we're going to move one stitch up here to about there. So let's start by inserting in here. Okay. And repeat on the other side. Okay. I just finished that third forehead line, whatever it's called. And then I'm going to insert my my needle right here, kind of where these two meet. And we're going to do 3 French knots. If it's the first time you've done one, it might be a little bit confusing, so I'll try to explain it 2 or 3 times. So pulling on this in the middle, you want to make a little bit of a loop like this, poke the needle through the loop, so it's through that loop where the string that you're holding is under the loop. Then you're going to pull it tight, then you're going to wrap it over and under, and then you're going to insert the needle slightly above, pull it tight, and then insert it through the yarn. So that's 1 knot. Okay, and then we're gonna insert, so find the V, so the V kind of goes here. So we'll insert the needle about there. Same thing, hold a loop, insert it through the loop, and then go over and under, pull it tight, and then insert the needle slightly above, so it's not going through the same hole. If you go through the same hole, the knot will fall through. So the last one is about there. Poke the needle through. I'm working with a very small thread, so okay. And that's the 3rd knot. We're going to do a couple more rows and then sew on the tongue and finish off this detail. Lots of details. So we're going to grab the hook. This 11th row, we're going, before I continue, these eyes that I've just inserted, you'll obviously need to secure them with either your hot glue gun or some E6000 glue. Because with it so thick in the inside, the normal backings won't work to secure it anymore. Okay, so round 11, we're doing 1 single crochet and then 1 decrease, and then 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a eight single crochets, and then a decrease. And a single crochet and a decrease, and a single crochet and a decrease. And then we're going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a decrease. And a single crochet and a decrease. Round 12, we're going to start with a decrease. And we're going to have 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 3 decreases. 1, 2, 3, and 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 2 decreases. 1 and 2. Okay, we're going to stop for the moment here to sew that tongue in. So we made the tongue earlier. Get to use the tapestry needle this time. Yay. The tongue will go about here. 1 row below the eyes, but make it kind of a V. So 1 row below the eyes is here. So sew the tongue kind of in a triangle. So 1 down here, 1 up here, 1 down here, if that makes sense. So this little 3-hole triangle. Oops, wrong way. This way. Using the tail from that tongue, hold it in place. And then we're going to go up here. and go back into that same stitch. And then go down one, which is there. So that's down one. And pull it tight too, because we want it to be secure. And go back into that same stitch. So it looks a little bit funny right now because we have to sew that black outline on top with a hook. Just pull it through, and we'll use these two ends to tie the knot inside to secure the tongue. But right now we're going to insert our hook through. So we're going to have a tooth diagonally here. So I'm going to insert the hook right there. Not the hook, the needle. And we're going to go into middle. Have a bit of slack. And we're going to insert the needle about here and secure that in place like that. And then the same thing, go back up to that middle, and then we're going to have the tooth, so I'll go about here. Have a bit of slack and insert here. Like that. So it's a bit more defined. I'm going to leave the nose and the white teeth for now because I can do that after I stuff the head. So with the nose, either glue a small piece of pink felt on, and the teeth you can do pink felt or you can embroider it on, it's up to you. But we're done for now, the embroidery. I'm going to tie this knot for the tongue. Now we can, it's up to you, but you can start filling the head. I'm going to do one more round before I start filling the head. So this next 13th round, round 13, we're doing 2 single crochets and a decrease all the way around, with a total of 5 decreases. So 1, 2, first decrease, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then second decrease, and then 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and a third decrease. And then 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and what is it, the 4th decrease? And then 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and the 5th decrease. Okay, so the opening is, it's closing. So I'm gonna go get some stuffing and stuff. You're filling round pieces like this. A little tip I always say in my videos is to work from the inside out. Then your piece doesn't get lumpy. And push the stuffing towards the outer edge. Again, put some more in and stuff from the inside out. Okay, so he's ready to go. Last round, round 14 of the head before we finish off. We're going to repeat 1 single crochet and a decrease 5 times. So 1 decrease, 1 decrease, that's 2, 1 decrease, that's 3, 1 decrease, that's 4, 1 decrease, and that's 5. Finish off with a relatively long tail. Just sew up the opening. Okay, we're gonna start the next section of Derpy, and we're gonna begin the legs now. We're gonna work on the legs, and it's made up of some puff stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. For 4 toes we made 4 puff stitches. Because puff stitches are a little bit bigger, I use a 3.5 millimeter hook for the puff stitches, and then I transition to a 4 millimeter hook for the legs and the body. Because proportionally I wanted the body not to be too big. The head was crocheted using a 4.5, so it was just kind of a weird way of thinking, but yeah, the head is 4.5, the toes are 3.5, and the body is a 4 millimeter hook. If you want, you can do it all in the same size, but it's just the route I took to make it. So let's get started with the toes. We're gonna chain 9. We're gonna chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to, so we chain 9, so there's going to be 8 stitches after going into the second chain from the hook. So we're going to yarn over and do the first, did I call it a puff stitch earlier? I think it's actually a bobble stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over once, pull through 2 loops, and we're going to do this another 2 times, so a total of 3 times. So yarn over, insert the hook into the same chain, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through 2 loops again. So now there's 3 loops on the hook. Do that one last time, pull through 2 loops. Oopsies. Now there's 4 loops on the hook, and you're going to pull through all 4 loops. and then this is the first puff stitch. We're going to do a single crochet into the next chain, and we're going to do this 3 more times for the 3 remaining toes. So basically it's you do part ways of a double crochet, and before finishing it you insert the hook into the same stitch again, and you finish with 4 stitches on the hook and pull through all of them. I'm pretty sure this is called a bobble stitch. So we just did another single crochet, another bobble stitch. I believe technically a bobble stitch, I think if you Google it, they do it like 6 times, but I don't want such big toes, so I'm doing it 3 times. Okay, so we have 3 toes there, 3 toes there, and then we're doing the last toe. So you keep doing part of a double crochet until you have 4 loops. Pull through all 4 loops, and we finish this off with 1 single crochet. And before finishing the single crochet, I'm going to switch the yarn to the sky blue, the lighter blue color for the body. We're going to switch the colors now. I'm going to drag this up to secure the light blue one before finishing it off. Okay, so we don't need that one anymore. So now we're going to switch to the 4mm hook. So these bobble stitches, they're on the backs, well, what would have been the back side, but we're going to make that the front side now. So we're going to turn it over, and if you like, you can chain 1. I'm going to go ahead without a chain 1. I'm going to put this over like this to mark my first stitch, and we're doing 8 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I have to look on this side to see where the stitch is. That's the 8th stitch. Now we're going to continue on the other side of that chain to form the legs. We're going to work on the other side of the chain now and make sure there's going to be 8 stitches. So you can count back from here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure there's 8. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's a little bit hard to see because the stitches were so small. So now we're at the beginning stitch, and I'm going to flip my stitch marker onto the other side. So we've got that. Now we're going to do two more rounds of this 16 single crochets. So because there was 8 on each side, we're now doing 16 in this round. So 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oopsies, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I said 16, right? Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that one more time. Move my stitch marker to the other side. We'll do 16 again, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, and 16. So the toes will count as the first round, even though it was a row. We'll call it row 1, and then the second round was the one where we made a full circle around the toes. So 8 on each side of that chain. That was the second round. Third and fourth were the 2 rounds of the 18 stitches. So now we're going to do another round of 16 single crochets, and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, this is the last stitch of the 5th round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 6th round, we're now going to do a decrease. 6. We're going to make 2 decreases on the ends. So we're doing 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to do a decrease. And then another 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a decrease. So that's the end of round 6. And we can stuff these tails in there now. So this is the end of round 6. You should have a total of 14 stitches because we did 2 decreases from the 16. Now this is the first leg. We're going to repeat the same. We're going to finish this off and repeat the same on the second leg. Finished the second front foot, and I'm hiding the little light blue tails in there. I'm going to hide this one as well. So we're gonna connect these 2 legs together by chaining 1 and then continuing around both legs to form the body. So as you can see, the paws, the toes should be aligned. So this is when you fold it in half, it's halfway. In order for us to be at the edge here, we're gonna have to do 1 more single crochet before we continue. So do 1 single crochet on the second leg, and then this is the last stitch. This is the last stitch where we ended off on the first leg, and the next stitch would have been here where my stitch marker is. This is my next stitch. So after we do the chain 1 on the second leg, we're going to continue on single crocheting into this stitch here. So chain 1, and then we're just going to continue on single crocheting into the next stitch here. So we're going to mark this as the new first stitch of the round. I'm going to use this tail. If you have the little plastic stitch markers, you should use that now. Stuff this one in. So instead of a piece of yarn, you can use a plastic stitch marker. This first stitch will be the first stitch of this 7th round. So we're going to go around this first leg with 14 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13, and 14. If you hold your work like this with the toes pointing away from you, you can see that chain 1 we did here. So we're going to crochet into that chain 1, which is right here. And then we will continue on to the second leg, which is right here, and do another 14 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 13, and 14. And then on the other side of that chain, which is right here, we're going to do one last single crochet into that other side of the chain 1. So we've just finished the 7th round, which puts us at 30 stitches all the way around. This is round 8 now. Round 8, we're going to make 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to do a decrease. 6 single crochets and a decrease, and then we're going to do 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we're going to do another decrease right here. So the decreases should be at the edge of the body. If you opted not to do the yarn under stitch and you do the regular yarn over, the stitches may not align exactly the same as mine, so keep that in mind. Now we're going to do 8 single crochets till the end of the round. So I just did 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're down to 28 stitches now, and the next round 9 and round 10, we're going to do 28 single crochets, so no decreases, just 28 single crochets all the way around for 2 rounds, and I will meet you at the end of round 10. Finished up round 10. Now we're moving on to round 11, and we're going to do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a decrease, and then another 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and a decrease. And then ending it with 7 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Round 12, we're doing 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease. And then 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oopsies, 10, 11, and 12. And then we're going to do a decrease. And we're going to finish round 12 with 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now at the end of round 12, 12, you should have 24 single crochets all the way around. For the next 6 rounds, round 13 to round 18, we're making 24 single crochets all the way around. No more decreases. We're just doing 24 single crochets for 6 rounds. And I will meet you back at the end of round 18. Okay, this is the last of round 18. It should look the same on both sides. This running stitch marker made of this piece of yarn, if you did the same as me and you used it to weave in and out, it's very helpful to see where your rows begin and end, like, because you have kind of a record, I guess you can say. But my little tail is coming to an end, so I'm gonna stop weaving it. I recommend that you keep marking your first stitch of the round. Yeah, at the end of your project, you can use a stitch. You can use a tapestry needle and pull this out, and then you won't have that there. Especially if you used another color yarn. So I'm gonna flip this out one last time, and then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it out later. Use it as an anchor to tie a knot later. We're at the beginning of round 9 now, and we're going to do a couple increases. So we're doing 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase. And then 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then another increase. And finish off round 19 with 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Round 20, we're doing 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by an increase, and then 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, followed by an increase, and then finishing off the round with 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then another round of increase. This will be the last increase of the body before we finish the hind legs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to split up the body into 3 parts at this point with some chains. So we're going to have a leg, the tail, and the second leg, hind leg. So we're going to do that by doing 2 single crochets first. 1, 2, and then chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip 11 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. On the 12th stitch, we're going to insert the hook and make 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip 11 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. On the 12th stitch, I didn't, okay, sorry, before skipping 11 we want to do chain 2, and then in the 12th stitch we will do 2 single crochets. So this will be the bottom of the body, this will be the top. Technically it shouldn't matter because it's symmetrical. So now we're just going to do 4 rounds of 12 single crochets for the tail. So this is round 23 for the tail. So 1, 2, and then we want to do the back loops of this chain. So the back loops are the 2 in the back, and then the front loops we're going to save for when we do the legs. So make sure you crochet around the back loops. 1, 2, and then 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the back loops of this chain 2, 1 and 2, and then another 2 to finish this round. 1, 2. So after this it should be pretty straightforward. Make 12 single crochets around. This was the first of 4 rounds. So make 3 more rounds and I will meet you at the end of round 26 of the tail. Okay, I just finished 4 rounds of 12 single crochets on the tail, and I think at this point we should stuff the body before it gets too out of hand. Yeah, we can stuff them through these leg holes. Let's put some polyester stuffing and fill the body and the legs. Okay, so we've stuffed the body and the legs like so. Not too full. You can still add more when we work on the legs. I have not stuffed this tail portion yet. Maybe in a little bit we will. Okay, so the next round of the tail, we're going to make a decrease in the tail. we're going to make 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and a decrease, and 8 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Round 28, we're going to do 11 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Round 29, we're doing 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a decrease, and 1 single crochet. From round 30 to 33, for 4 rounds, we're going to do 10 single crochets, and I'll meet you after 4 rounds of 10 single crochets. Okay, just finished up to the end of round 33 of the tail. At this point, this part is optional, but I wanted the tail to bend like this. It's kind of cute. You can bend it around the leg. You could bend it upwards. It's just to add a little whimsy to the piece. So I'm using just a regular pipe cleaner. If you have any kind of other malleable wire you have around, that's about the same length. You can feel free to go ahead and use that. I'm just going to twist this in half and then fold it one more time in half and give it a little twist. This is the sharp end. We're going to put it in this way. This is the end we bent the pipe cleaner. So we're going to stuff that in there. It will stick out a little bit, but that's fine because we still have a little bit to go for the tail. Now we want to gently stuff around the tail. You can use whatever you have, like another crochet hook, a pencil, a wooden chopstick, a dowel, just to add the stuffing into the tail around the pipe cleaner. Just be aware of that, where the pipe cleaner is, and add it on the outside around the pipe cleaner so that it's sort of in the middle there. And you don't really need to overstuff it, otherwise it's going to get, the tail will be bumpy. I think that's good for now. Okay, now we're gonna switch. If you have navy yarn, we're gonna switch over. This one again is denim, which is the same color I used for the back of the ears. Or if you're using navy, you can use navy. So we're gonna change colors like so. I can cut off the other yarn. Finished with that. And we're gonna finish off the tail with, I think I'm gonna tie a knot here. We're going to finish off with 4 rounds of 10 single crochets. If you've liked this pattern so far, sorry to repeat myself again if I have, but feel free to like the video, make a comment. If you have any questions about the video so far, make a comment. Or even, what was your favorite part of the show? K-pop Demon Hunters, who's your favorite character? I suppose I could make a doll next. Rumi. I think Rumi would be very cool to make. And also, if you are on any social media platforms, you show off your work, please tag me. My username is at made by Canna, MADEBYCANI, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. Please tag me. I would love to see your work. Okay, this is the 3rd of 4 rounds. So we're nearly done. We just have the 2 legs left. We're done the crocheting. Then we got all this embroidery to do on the body. Yay. I think the rest of the embroidery should be fine. It was the eyes that was most challenging for me. Or maybe it's a breeze for you, I don't know. Everyone has different skill levels. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is the 4th. Last round. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Now let's stuff this in there. Fill the remaining space with more stuffing. Might need to use smaller pieces because a big one won't work. Okay, now we're going to finish off the opening with three single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. One, 2, 3, and a decrease. Okay, and a decrease. And you can go ahead and sew sew up the opening. So there should be 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna use the tapestry needle from the inside out on the front loops only. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Pull that tight and then weave in the end. I'll leave that for now. Okay, let's work. So the tail is now bendable. Yay, super cute. Let's quickly move on to the remaining legs. And we're gonna go back to the sky blue. So I'm gonna, so this is where my stitch marker was. I'm gonna join the yarn. This is the 4th stitch of the tail here. I'm gonna join right there and pull up a loop and do a slip knot. And with that slip knot there, I'm going to work into the first stitch, the next stitch. Oopsies, what am I doing? There we go, okay. And we're gonna just make 11 single crochets around the leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then these were the 2, so we crocheted into the back loops of that chain 2. Now we're using the remaining front loops to close up the leg. Now, sometimes when I do this, I will do a decrease between, like, technically there's no stitch, but I'm gonna go in between here, right here, and make it into a decrease, but you don't have to do this. I just don't want there to be any kind of holes. So this is actually a decrease stitch. And same thing with this next stitch. I'm going to make it into a decrease. So this is where we first insert the yarn. If this is not working for you, just see how there's less of a hole. Otherwise you might have this hole in between the tail and the leg. You can ignore what I just did and do the 2 single crochets and then just sew it up with some more yarn. That works too. Okay, now let's do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're at the edge of the leg. Gonna do two single crease, an increase. So two single crochets in one stitch. That's an increase. And then we're doing 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Next, we're doing 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an increase. And then 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then next round we're going to do 7 single crochets and an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an increase. And then 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we're going to do 3 rounds. Right now we have 16 stitches, and we're going to do 3 rounds of 16. 1, 2, the last few stitches of that 3 rounds, and we're done the leg portion. We're going to count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So starting here, we're going to leave this as is right for now, and we're going to attach the other color for the toes here. Do a slip knot and then change to your smaller hook at this point. Sorry about that. Otherwise you'll have big toes, which is fine. Whatever you prefer. This is the third toe. We have one last toe to do for this leg. And finish off with a single crochet right there. And you can cut that off. Now we're going to fill in the leg and then whip stitch this closed like so. So we can cut off, cut a little bit longer so that you can sew the toes to the foot a little bit longer. Okay. Like that. Grab your tapestry needle. So there should be 8 on each side. This end we finished off with a single crochet. I'm not really sure what this stitch is called. I don't think it's a whip stitch, but I kind of zigzag between the top and the bottom, going through both loops. The last stitch. And then pull all that tight. I left it loose for now because I wanted to make sure I could see where I was sewing, but you can pull this tight now. Yeah, that will not come undone. Okay, you can tie a knot here and then sew in the ends. Now we have one leg left. I'm not going to do that now. Just realized my pipe cleaner came down. Okay. Once you're done, you can finish up the opening and then sew the head on like so. Sew the head on like so. Like this. And what you're left with still is the the embroidery of the stripes. So I did 2 on each paw, front paw, and then 3 along the tail and 2 on the back. So these are just surface stitches. Now you might be thinking, we've closed it. How do I do the surface stitch now? Let me show you. We're going to do it embroidery style versus a surface slip stitch crochet style. It gives you the same look, So we're just going to use this as a guideline. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In between the 5th and the 6th one we'll start. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to insert my tapestry needle here. Maybe one lower. Yeah. And basically you will insert your needle back into the first stitch, pull the yarn through, and make sure this loop is under your working part, like this. And you just keep repeating. Super easy, so you don't have to use a crochet hook to surface slip stitch. Voila. Very neat and tidy. I kind of did this in lieu of changing colors on the body because I actually think this is easier than changing colors while crocheting. I think we'll do one more. Okay, and then that was 5, 6, 7, 8. Between 8 and 9 there. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8. Between 8 and 9. I'm going to insert it here. Let's see if I have enough to do two stripes. So that's magical. Yeah, okay. I want to start with you want to use something like this. Then we can finish off. Oh, okay. Finish off this and this end. And we can tie a knot with excuse me. Tie a knot with the beginning. And then hide this piece. So, see that. I also did a finer black line around it. I can show you how to do that too. 1 second. Okay, so for this part, I'm using this finer type of embroidery thread, and we're going to start in between those two guys there, and I want it to taper a little bit, so go a little bit further out than where your embroidery stripe started. Leave a little bit to tie a knot. And what you're really doing is just pulling it across. and then insert the hook like this. So grab a little bit of the yarn fibers like this, and then pull it back and insert it somewhere around there. I'm going to do the second stripe. See how pretty that is? So defined, eh? Okay, do the same thing on this side. Go past the stripe a little bit, pick up some yarn. Make sure you grab enough, otherwise the yarn will come out. Pull it taut, and then bring it back there. Oopsies. There we go. And then ideally find that same stitch opening there. Sort of hidden there. Pull it back up there. And then tie a knot. And then sew in that end. So, a lot of loose ends, but the head will go here like that. I have an ear somewhere here. Sew on the ears at the back of the head. I kind of do here. So this is the middle of the head. I kind of do it behind the middle and at an outward angle. So put both of the ears on, put the head on around here, stitch it around there, and then finish your other leg, which I'm not going to do right now. Put on the stripes and you're done. Oh, one more thing. I did the paws, so obviously this is also optional because he's lying down like a tiger, like a cat, I guess. These are the same French knots as these black dots, and then this paw you can do a little magic circle with 6 single crochets, or you can do a surface slip stitch and spiral. Pretty straightforward. And we're done. That's it. Thank you so much for your patience and crocheting along with me again. If you're new to the channel and you really enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Follow my channel for more future projects. If there's something that you'd like made, I'm open to making anything, and I love hearing suggestions or requests, I should say. In the comments, let me know what you'd like to have made, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.